WesWes Show.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 104 of the EOTC, the Empty Out the Clip podcast. I'm here with the brothers in the house, online this time, not in studio. We're online, we're at home, safety of our own failures. It's cold outside, so it's good we can be at home to do this. What's up, Yush? How's it going, brother?
What's up, y'all? Good to see you all. Good to be back. Excited for another episode.
Nice,
Cool,
good
cool.
to see you.
Excited to have you here. And the man of the hour, Lady Smith. What's up, brother?
Sup, bulls? Good to see you guys, man. Feels good to be at the comfort of your own home, mate. I love that. I love that one, mate.
Cool, man. Let's do some shout-outs.
Probably just shout-outs. My cousin moving to Aussie. Another one moving to Aussie on Saturday. Cousin Max. And yeah, we had a good birthday party yesterday. It was my mum's 65th during the week, and then his 39th, and then his mother-in-law's 70th. So it was good to catch up yesterday, and then so just wishing all the best. Moving to Aussie, another one, and then there's a few others moving down later on. So just shout out to Max, and then also Tito, my first stranger feedback about the podcast. Is saw him at the gym at CrossFit, Overflow CrossFit. Just saying he's been a bit of a listener for a while, and then just he said it was funny when he heard me jump on there for the last 4 or 5 weeks or something like that. So yeah, shout out to Tito, Sophia.
Yeah,
Good to see there's I got a listener out there, you know.
nice, guys. That's the one. See, you're a staple now.
Yeah.
My list of shout outs, man. I just want to say, I want to plug the bro, Charles, the family down at West City Rampage, man. So Charles Schuster dropped the episode on the back of the Wi-Fi 5 with myself and Cam's some time ago, but it was good to just hear it back. I think when you record some of those ones some time ago, then actually listen to them, and you sort of get the appreciation of time. But yeah, that was a solid yarn. Shout out to that guy and the great work that they do down at Rampage. Another shout out to the Ulster Thai, still on his away with the family. So the guys are just touched down in Dubai. Man, watching this guy's stories where I'm like jealous as it, but man, good on him and his wife Susan for just getting up and going. Like we heard that with Nabil and Amy's yarn about just taking the kids and just seeing all these beautiful places. It's got me just thinking really hard about life and stuff. Another big shout out to my bro Ted Witty. Love you also, and to my docs, Devita Taho Gao, for letting me flex one of his garments today. It's nice and warm. And just a few birthday shout outs. Obviously, happy 65th to Auntie Salah and to Uncle Pedro, turned 60 during the week. And also to Joanna Smells, that's Sid Smells' wife, up in, they're always listening and plugging from up north. To the nephew Daylon, and to my Tongan auntie Putti, Deanne, uncle, that's Mickey's mum. So she celebrated her birthday yesterday. So yeah, that rounds up the list of my shout outs. What's yours?
Sweet, man. Hey, I want to make a shout out to my brother-in-law Toops, who had a birthday last night. I couldn't make his drinks last night. I was still getting out with the flu, but happy birthday to him, and yeah, man. I just want to make a shout out to everybody that's listening in on the WesWes Network podcast, all our podcasts, especially Empty Out the Clip, the EOTC. Don't forget to check out our Facebook group page, the EOTC Facebook group page. It's a private page, so if you want to just join and answer the free questions, our securities will let you in, and there's your chance to put your down some comments and posts and for us to talk about on the podcast. Okay, boys, that's us, man. How's your week been? How's your week been, Yash?
Yeah, good. Some standard stuff like the kids wrestling and then Bible study. But I guess the few different things. Yeah, it was the birthday on Wednesday. My mom's on the 3rd, and I was just thinking about that. Like I was talking with a good friend Logan. Yeah, Logan Martin. He was on the podcast as well, and saying how like when you're younger, you like, you know, before I was just sort of like doing my own thing, a little bit selfish, and catch up like sort of more if there was an event, like a family event, an anniversary or birthday or something like that. But now, like I'm older and things are happening, like going out of your way to catch up with family and things like that. So yeah, just a different, I guess maybe maturity or something like that. So it was good having mom over for some cake and KFC and stuff, and then on Saturday as well. So that was really cool, I guess. And then I guess the other thing that was probably different from the ordinary week, school and work and family and things like that, was with my daughter. Like we have wrestling Monday, Wednesday, and then Tuesday, Thursday they go to their nan and papa's. And like if they don't have wrestling for whatever reason, I usually make them train at home. And so, like when they go to nan and papa's, they don't train there, obviously, but I try to tell my wife, or if I'm there, like to do some like homework, whatever it is, like whether it's maths or English, or just do something where they're learning. But I had my daughters on Friday. We were at home, and I made them train. But before we were going to train, I was like, um, should I just let her have the day off, whatever? And then I was like, nah, 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 because if I let her have the day, I was thinking if I let her have the day off, kids are smart, then she'll be like, oh, if I do this, dad will give me the day off or that type of thing. And I was like, all right, because usually, like every time I make her train, she usually cries first, but then she does it. But then this time, she sort of was like, oh, okay, daddy, and then we went and trained, and I was like, oh, we made breakthrough. So I guess in terms of, catching up on the week, that was obviously the birthday and the catch up for the birthdays. And then on the Friday, that was a big breakthrough and a highlight for me, that she was just like, all right, let's go, dad. So I'm happy she's starting to see that it's just a normal way of life slowly.
Yeah.
It's taken a while, but I don't know. I guess we'll see this week if she goes back to crying before we do it. But yeah, I was pretty happy with that. So that was my week basically.
Shoulders.
Oh man, I've been carrying some pretty heavy thoughts from the workplace, and it's actually got me thinking about looking at another job. Almost, yeah, it's all over. Phone privileges on the floor.
Mm.
Ah, man, it actually weighed. It's been weighing on me for a while. First two cuts on the Saturday morning, I know the guys that are like pretty high up in management at their jobs, and I just shared a bit of my thoughts on my work policy at the moment. And it was pretty good to just get their perspective on it. And it did come across like, yeah, very work seems to be sort of putting a noose around us, sort of, like just controlling us a bit too much. Because the issue with work is that you can't have your phone on you. But twice the kids have been trying to get a hold of me, and they know like that's an emergency. And the emergency was they were stuck trying to pay for something. They didn't have any FPOS, so they're trying to get my debit number to pay Apple Pay. So they had to wait 3 hours, bro. And to me, that's like I've just gotten past anxiety and just been able to deal with it. That's just intensified it. It's like made it worse. It's like it's come back, sort of. So this whole week, bro, it's like I've been on edge, and it's sort of given me like the sore guts and not being able to just sit and relax. So just I appreciate you guys letting me just for us to do empty out the clip online, because like it's just been weighing on me, and I haven't even sent an email off to the management about it. But apart from that, rubbish. No, the weekend was pretty exciting. Yeah, just cutting again, and then also seeing people that haven't come in for a month or two. Even debriefing the boxing that took place last Sunday, and just watching the reels and all the pre-fight, all the hype around it, and then where to from here for the two fighters. But no, it's good. We went out for dinner last night to celebrate the nephew's 20th birthday, which was pretty cool up in Westgate. But nah, it's still cold, eh?
Yeah.
Man.
Nah, it's definitely cold. It's definitely cold.
How's your week
It's
been,
actually,
Cam?
it's been good. But I just want to touch on what you were saying about your work, because maybe that's a topic we could touch on in the future episodes. But it's a big topic, man. Especially when you're doing a 9 to 5, and it feels like there's stuff that happens in the background that would stop you from concentrating at work. And I'm talking about stuff at home, family stuff, or in your personal life that probably the workplace they don't really understand or don't really cater anything in the workplace to help with any shit goes down, Hey,
Oh,
so
absolutely, bro. I mean,
yeah,
Auckland floods was a good example of it, man. You know,
mm,
when the city's going into what the emergency alert shutdown and all that shit, while we still here at work, like stuff like that,
yeah,
Yeah. So, um, I'm gonna send that email off. I know I'm speaking on behalf of maybe at least 10 people at work, and it's a typical cultural thing within in workplaces as well. You know how we're too far along and never try and talk back to management or try and share your honest thoughts about it. We're too
mm,
bloody or just go koko mumu in the lunchroom or in the hallways. It's like, nah, fuck that, man. Like 2023, man, you got a voice. If 90% of the plants Pacifica and is predominantly Samoan, maybe they need to cater to us. Because it seems like we are the ones going over me. We get sit down at the table, we're about to serve it, and they go, nah, fuck it, I want this. Give me something else. That's how it feels, And that's just, my input about how I feel it is right now. So, I mean, if I'm
mm,
looking for another job, I'm looking at what I could get, with my skill set. I'm like, it is just a segment of my life. It isn't my life. My wife and kids you didn't clock out. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
work 12 hour shifts, but I wear this dad bulo hat, fucking 24/7, 365 days, every bloody minute of my life.
mm,
So they need to understand that, and it's just fucking shocking. Feels like we're
yeah,
being institutionalized at bloody work. It's crazy.
yeah. Especially with men there who are fathers have young kids at home. I was listening to the radio this week, and they were talking about the the laws around maternity leave. So I think the mother can have 3 months, and then the father can have 3 months
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
And it depends on whether you take it. So you can the the mother can take the first 3 months since child's birth, and then after that 3 months is done, then the father can take the next 3 months off. Huh?
yeah.
But I think I think with labor they don't want to do that. They want to just have the the mother and father have the 3 months simultaneously at the same time.
So who becomes the breadwinner in that situation, eh? If you're not getting paid full wages.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, man. Other than that, my week's been alright. It's been busy, man. Especially WesWes Network, sort of busy. Man, we did the counteract. I think last week. I can't remember what day it was, but you guys probably heard it and seen it on our socials. The snippet I put on about Auckland rugby. The amount of response from that video. Fuck, there's heaps, man. Go on TikTok. There's about 66 at the moment, and more
Is that
on
the one about?
Instagram.
Is that the one Joey touching on the criteria to get picked to play Auckland
Yeah,
provincial
yeah,
rugby? Yeah, yeah. But I
yeah,
told you,
and
man. What I said, fuck. Rewind the tape, man. Go back and have a look. I said, Toy is the hottest commodity in Auckland rugby right now, and he can't even get a start. And I don't know if Joey was even mentioning that guy. But head to head, man, right now, if he put those two players on the field, which is Palmer versus Faletoi, bro, I can guarantee half of Auckland's rugby supporters would be like, why would you even, because he's already a professional paid player. Like, he's on the outskirts, but like, yeah, it is shocking, man. Like, I know it is an all boys club, man. Like, I'm just glad that he said it. It is an all boys club. It's not your ability, it's who you know and who's willing to, move favors around.
mm,
It's like almost
mm,
like trading. It's like these human trafficking in club football, bro. We'll give you Angus Salvao. He can come play a season down here if you give us two
yeah.
wingers. And 90% of the time they'll come from schoolboy rugby. And that's all the jargon that happens behind closed doors, man.
But you know, I was thinking, after all that, because it's still going. People are still commenting. People
Yeah.
still liking the video on TikTok. And I was thinking, man, like, is there anywhere else that people say this sort of stuff that's real,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
touches people's hearts or touches people's opinions on what's going on? Because the amount of response, I was thinking, is there anything else out there that's doing this sort of thing, or is it just us? And it makes me so proud that we have this platform that we can say these sort of things, right?
Yeah,
Well, we can say what people think, but never say. You know what I mean?
Mm.
yeah,
Like it's good, and I don't think there's any other platform out there that's doing that, because otherwise, people will just say, "Oh, heard it all before," blah blah blah. But nah, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting week of looking into that.
Yeah,
think
I think it's always been there, but I guess people in the rugby world are too scared to speak on it or say it a certain way, and I guess the boys just probably being a bit more open and honest, and people could relate and resonate with what they were saying, because we were talking about that sort of stuff years ago, what I mean,
Mm,
but it's just not really out in media, the mainstream, and all
no,
the stuff that's out in mainstream. It's sort of like very democratic in the way they communicate their stuff. So maybe people have sort of said it, but they've said it in like a coded type of way, in a nice way. Whereas if like I said, with the podcast platform, you can just say it how you want, and a way that people can relate to and understand. You know
mm,
what I mean? Like just speaking from the heart and the truth. And then I think that's probably why I had a good, feedback and engagement, because it's from the people, sort of thing.
yeah, exactly, and that was the best thing about it. I think I think there are a mixture of people that agreed with what Joey said, and a mixture of people that didn't agree with what he said as well. And I thought that was pretty cool that everybody just had their say. So something that's like everybody knows about,
yeah,
but
yeah,
not
yeah,
but it's not out there, eh?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
No, but
definitely.
everybody knows.
yeah,
Because rugby's a white collar game, and it's somewhat political. You know what I mean? So people got to be
mm,
careful the way. I mean, some people got to be careful the way they communicate and talk and stuff. You can see it in the interviews and that. And you got to talk and walk and behave a certain way, sort of thing. So when there's any issues in that, people sort of on eggshells type of thing. And then, but when people do come out, they're like, yeah, you're right, I agree too. But it's just
mm.
those ones that are, confident and bold enough to do it.
Yeah, that's right. And I was thinking today, because I'm always thinking about it today, and I come up with new ideas, new thoughts about it. And today's thought about it was, I thought the object of this whole thing was to win, you know.
Yeah,
In order to win, don't you need the best guys available, the best people you possibly have on this team? Like
yeah,
if it's about politics, if it's about a boys' club, about we need this guy because he's my uncle's son, or blah blah blah, he's in my family, blah blah blah, he's rich and blah blah blah, then what's that that's not got to do with winning. That's got to do with who knows who.
I think that that culture though, that old boys culture though, it's more or less, and like I can see that the angle you're coming about, like actually winning championships and that. But I think it's more or less setting their own up to be in a better position financially, and their opportunities being more greater. Like is in not just one particular club, like to various clubs, and knowing that they can, if someone doesn't fill that gap, then they can have someone else who can fill that gap and then have another opportunity. Because
Exactly. That's the angle it's going at. Eh?
yeah, well, it clearly is, man. Because there's some
Hmm.
guys who weren't even in the mix of things, right? Couldn't even get a start for the Blues, yet they're in the picture. The fact that they even let the Blues players drop down into their NPC team for the start of the season, I don't think is a good fit. Because there's two different competitions, man. Why play have a cup competition and have them sort of striving for rep or at least a window to get an opportunity to play at that level, and they can't because those guys are dropping down and playing NPC level. Like you look at the women's game, it's a lot even now than what it was last year or the season before that. So
Hmm.
Yeah, I think like I think of the Bulls, the last dance, when you're talking about it's about winning championships, and yeah, it is. But like all your people at the top, say maybe, I don't know, it's different for every organization, but maybe you have 50, 60, 70, 80% that want it. But you look at like Jerry Buss, so they're all about winning championships, and then Jerry Buss is sort of a bit butthurt about him not getting recognition. And you have someone at the top, and so he knows that Jordan and them are going to get championships, but because he's hurt, um, he's offended, and he sort of switches from trying to win championships to sort of save self, and and then they end up ruining a legacy just because of someone's, you know what I mean? Like they've been hurt. And so that's the same with like rugby and different sports. You might have most of them on board for winning, doing whatever it takes to win a championship. And then a few, it's more personal, like they get rid of players that they should have kept or bring in people that's their buddies or whatever. So it's a little bit more selfish. Or it's not the best thing for the club overall. So if you get a couple of guys or girls like that, it can really undo like the rest of the people that are, 100% in for the championship. So that's the way I sort of see it. You got to have everybody, because before, Jerry Buss was butthurt, with Pippen mocking him and him not getting the recognition for winning the championships. He was all good, but then once that happens, then it became more personal and. He became more selfish about it all.
Yeah, because if I put it another way, like if New Zealand rugby and club rugby and Auckland Union and all the other unions, if it's about money, because we're not the richest union compared to the whole world, right? We're not the richest. NZR is not the richest like up north, right? That's where the money is. So it's that at the top of your head, they're sort of fighting for scraps because we need to get guys with opportunities to give them opportunities to go overseas, right? To get the big bucks. It's not about finding the best players anymore, right? It's just finding the particular people to give them opportunities to make that big money. So,
Yeah.
so say I'm just pretend I'm Auckland Rugby Union and I've got incentive to win games, but I know that winning games won't give opportunities to the kids that I know. The real opportunity is for the kids to go overseas. So I sacrifice winning for picking those guys that I want to have opportunities to be successful overseas. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, pretty much, bro. And that's where it's at now, man. Like you can just see that's where the cracks are and the way the Auckland Rugby is set up at the moment. Because you got Hoskins,
I think
right?
like sometimes
His club is what Marist. His club is Marist, but Marist plays in the Galahad Shield Cup. But he's playing down in counties. So I don't know how they've gone from doing that sort of setup, or whether they're trying to spread the talent in certain positions that other provinces might not be strong. Like because then if he did come up to Auckland, there'd be a whole lot of Lucy's to pick from, just like how we have a lot of props to choose from.
Yeah, I think there's another thing that I see sometimes, like if like a selector or coach or someone high up there like picks a player, from 18s, 20s, and then like they want to see them through because they've invested so much like time and money and resources into these certain players, and they become like sort of like favorites in a way, and then like they're not putting up the goods that they expected, but they still like we're too deep and we're going all the way, or you know what I mean, sometimes. So I don't know, I think of like Sam Cane, like I thought he started off well and then he's had like injuries and stuff. He's not quite the same player, but they've gone too far with him, like, and so for them they're like he's going to captain us all the way, like other than him getting injured, because they've had this vision type of thing, and for them to, not just him but other players maybe they believed in, to say like, oh, we're not going to pick you or whatever. It's like, it's going against them. Like it's like, oh, maybe it's almost like admitting I was wrong or something like that. But they don't want to admit they were wrong in certain situations where they'll be like stick with something, right or wrong, just because they've invested so much into it.
Yeah, it'll never be a case like American sports, when NBA and NFL, like they'll get rid of you if you're not doing well. They'll always pick the best players, right? Like they won't worry about the boys' club sort of thing. If you're good enough, you make the team. If you're the best,
I think they'll be a little bit more ruthless, but there'll always be some sort of boys' club. Some will have more. I reckon more or less, but they're probably a little bit more cutthroat in general. But there's always a boys' club in some sort of capacity, I reckon.
yeah.
But just some are more and then some are less, like they've adapted with the times and evolved, but then some are not. They're still stuck in that same rut. Like, some teams just can't win the championships for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like they're always at the bottom or in the middle, like Browns and that. They just can't get over the hump.
Okay, boys. Let's get into our topic. So the first one I want to bring up is, so you put up a video on the page. There was a story in Australia, in Brisbane. And the headline is "Force of Field." So it looks like, when you go watch a footy game with young kids, 6-year-old, and you find out, you look and there's a kid that
Looks like he's 15.
sure he's 6 years old, but is he 6 years old?
But he looks like he's 15, right?
Yeah. It's a typical thing you see in kids sports, especially with rugby league and rugby. When the Polynesian kids are a lot bigger than the Balang kids in the age group. It strikes fear in all the white kids' parents, but man, I looked at that video and this guy, bro, typical way. Like, can someone find this guy's birth certificate?
Yeah, I thought it was that was a good video. I thought his dad spoke really well, and encouraging them to practice their tackling and all the stuff. And they even went up an age group as well, because they talked with the coach and seeing what was the best thing moving forward. It's not the kid's fault that he's bigger. He's just, I guess, the genetics, and then they will catch up. Everyone else will catch up, and hopefully just the other kids. Yeah, because I feel sorry for the big kid. You can't do anything. You're just, and he went up an age group as well, and he's just doing his best. Everybody wants to score tries and win and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, he feels sorry for the kids he's fending off. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I was a big kid, like, not that big though, and not that strong, but I was definitely one of the bigger ones and could run through sometimes, but once I got to like 14, 15, everyone started, there was a lot of other big kids, and kids would grow, catch up, and you couldn't make the same breaks and all that. So, I mean, it will stop at some age. I don't know when, but, everyone will grow, and he might stop growing, and, people have their growth spurts and stuff like that. So I guess in the there's not much you can do, but just encourage, the coaches and the kids to improve their tackle technique and that, and rush up, numbers, and try to chop his legs or whatever it is. But I mean, it's not his fault, or I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's a common thing, and especially in rugby, especially in Auckland, because the amount of Polynesians that live here in Auckland, and probably in Australia too. All the Polynesians that live over there, the Pacific Islanders, that are taking up league.
You know what? The Kiwi born. If you're a Kiwi, right? Like, if that was my son, and he was under 6. My son would be playing under 10s or under 12s restricted. He wouldn't be playing. Because that's how it was when we were kids. Like, we were borderline good old. Like, I played under 14s, and we had 9 and 10-year-olds playing. And that was us. We played all the way through the grades. But we wouldn't try and play like our grade, you know what I mean? Because we had some big kids. So we played up. I would have thought, like, mate, common sense will tell you, go play restricted, put your son up a grade. I mean, he's better for it. There's no point putting him in doing along with rugby, and week to week he's going to be trying to hit top scorer, top point scorer, top everything. When he becomes his age, it doesn't become foreign to him. It's going to be like, the world caught up, and then what? You fall behind. Well, that's the way I see it. But if your kid's like that much bigger, it's like one kid try to tackle him, he's probably 3 times his height. It's like, I wouldn't go on the news and boast about it, bro. Like, that to me is like, that's just fucking stupid, bro. Like, I would never go on camera and say, hey, my son's this. Nah, it's just like, bro, think about it. Like, literally look at him. He's massive, man. I mean, I don't think you can sort of like, I don't know, say that it's fair. I mean, that's like a landslide, like, off the scale difference between the kids his age and the weight. Like,
Yeah, because
let's face it, when they make up the rules, right? Yeah. Of course, they're not catering for Polynesian kids. There could be 6 years old but have a body of a
15.
16-year-old. You know, of course, when they made the rules, they never thought about that.
Yeah.
You know, when they
No,
made them. So now it's just a technicality. So I
yeah,
think you're right. The first thing that comes to mind is when I read Sonny Bill Williams' book, when he talks about always playing in grades above him all his young career. Like he always played with older guys all the time, which
Oh,
he
Sam
thought
Clifton
to him
said it as
made him
well.
better. Mm.
Even when Sam came on, remember he said that he wasn't gonna get taken to the other game, just go to the older brother's game. And he was like the smallest
Yeah.
on the field. Eventually, when he caught up, he was still hitting the guys like they were older than him, and then became a force to reckon with, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he went up one age group, but yeah, obviously he probably like Asian guys were saying, probably should have went up two or three maybe. I mean, I guess still they were similar size as him. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, these kids are these gotta fight these kids there. They're just getting fended off like ragdolls. So yeah, maybe
How about weight?
one
Would it be
year
better if it
obviously
was
wasn't
weight?
enough.
Would it be better if it was weight?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know, like if there's always like a weight restriction every year. Yeah, I'm not sure how they work. It depends on numbers, but yeah, I guess definitely should have went up maybe 2 years at least.
Maybe they introduce a new thing, height restriction.
Yeah,
Height
yeah.
and width
I
and
think
height.
it depends on numbers and stuff. You know what I mean? Like if you have enough kids that are that weight group and how many teams and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, because I've seen like quite a few kids that play up age group. But like sometimes I see like kids play upper grade, but they're not like their dad wants them to, but they're not that good. Like they, you know what I mean? Like they probably would have been better off in their own age group, you know, to develop some confidence and some proficiency. So sometimes it goes the other way where like they're like, oh, I want my son to be tough and, you know, tackle these, but they're not like quite ready or mature enough. But obviously in this case, he was obviously physically ready to play upper grade, a couple of grades, yeah. But sometimes the other way it goes bad, you know what I mean? Like they get hammered or they just, you know, just can't keep up with the play when they play upper grade.
I have to agree with you, Let's about the story. It's only a story because of that image of him fending off those little kids, you know, and see a big dude like that just running over these little kids, fending them off like that. You know, of course, that's gonna get people's interest. You know, you put that on TV, people are gonna get, oh my gosh, what the hell, you know?
Yeah, I've coached young kids, bro, and like if we played under nines and there was a guy the same height as me on the field, how do you hype your team up? He's never. It's like, you know, don't worry about it. We're gonna get issues after this. That's the only way you can tell your team to just hang in there. It's only one guy. There's only one guy, and you know that story would live with those kids right up to they're in their 18, like they're 18. Remember that one kid that just freaking joined along with the whole lot of us? They'll be sharing stories like, wasn't you that got bumped off first? It would be like that. But this kid, obviously, he can score tries. But I mean, I reckon, yeah, if he went up a few ages and like maybe played restricted, bro, he'd probably be just as good, man. There'd be probably guys older than him who wouldn't be able to tackle him either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, boys, you posted another video up on the page. Let's about you did it back in July. I think it was an old story that came up again. So it's a story about the kids, school kids that actually have to work after school, and sometimes it's almost like they've kind of got to work to help the family, and they've missed out on homework and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a pretty sad situation, but it's a reality. And I remember this happening during lockdown or after lockdown, because you know parents were struggling because they couldn't work, and the kids needed to get out of school. Even some kids didn't go back to school, and they had to work full time to help the family. So yeah, pretty sad situation.
Yeah, I shared that one. That's on the back of like a few guys that had come into my workplace and they were teens, you know, and you sort of like they sort of have the energy, you know, like that young mentality, sort of like green. You know, they're as green as they come when they step out onto the floor. So I like to always look out for kids like that because they remind me of my own kids. So we had a couple of kids that came into the workplace like that, but one kid, a guy named Dan, came in and I asked him straight off. I go, "What are you doing here?" And he's, "Oh, my old lady's sick, so just trying to help her pay some bills." And then I said to him, "Are you looking at trying to get full time?" He said, "Yeah, man, I just need to help my mum's out." He eventually became perm, and we do 48 hours a week. But he wasn't going to school. You see, like I don't think he could have managed doing 6 to 6, then have like a couple of hours and then go to school. But I do know, like in some South Auckland schools, because we've had kids come in from Aorere and they've done the 11 to 6. They're allowed to start a bit later. But the only differences with them doing it is that they're not doing full NCEA subjects, so they might have like 1 or 2 subjects, but not like 5 or 6, you know. But even still, bro, like you know, I've said it before, man. Like you know, our kids need to live to be kids. That window's short, you know, and you can imagine being Ulavale in your 15, 16, 17 days, man. You just want to get car, be a street clear and drink and just play up, be mooks and do the rest of it, and then you know, go home and go to school and talk about the weekend. The saddest part about it is that post COVID and even before COVID, like you know, some of our teens they didn't get to see that, they didn't get to live it, you know. I mean, it is a maturity thing as well. Like they understand times are tough, and like right about now, bro, with the cost of living, gas, and interest rates and stuff, bro, it is really hard. Then now that reality is becoming more realer by the moment. Just as you've seen those kids, some of those kids. I think when she said one kid said 20 hours, another kid said 47 hours. I'm like, damn. That's you know that they will make them strong and resilient for when they get to uni. But still, man, like such a young age to sort of be wearing that responsibility, along with everything else that's happening in the world, bro. It's quite hard and it's sad, eh? You know, to me, it's sad.
Yeah, it's a bit sad. You want your kids to be kids, or then kids to be teens when they're teens. Like growing up a little bit too quick, and you know, getting into responsibilities and things like that. My older brother, he dropped out. I think it was about year 11 to work, and yeah, similar to the kid that worked for you, that's the just to help his mom out. So yeah, it's pretty much to help mom and me and my other brother, but he was the oldest, and so yeah, he quit school and started working and that, and you know, yeah, you do miss out, like, because he was an awesome basketball player and probably had this sort of thing to play professionally on, you know. He made he ended up going back to school for a bit after I think he worked for a year or two, and then you know, one of the coaches saw he was pretty good and got him to come back for one more year at Avondale actually, and then he did really well and made it like a tournament team and stuff like that. But I think those 2 years that he was working, it would have been better him going to school and playing basketball and you know, developing more and just having. So yeah, it's tough because he didn't have like the resources and stuff around him to help him develop, you know. And I mean, for other kids, it might be other dreams, whatever it is, just to sort of focus on yourself and your own, you know, whatever you want to achieve at school, whether it's educational or sporting. So yeah, I think you know my brother did miss out a little bit there in terms of that, and there's probably other kids that are you know thrust into work when they you know could have put a bit more time into whatever their thing is, and because you're gonna work, you know what I mean, like eventually. So why rush into
Yeah,
it? Like you don't
right
need.
up.
You got plenty of time to work, so yeah, it's better off being a kid, being a teen, yeah, enjoying hanging out with your mates and you know in school and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty tough, pretty sad. But yeah, like you said, it did make him tougher. You know, like he's still a hardworking man and all that. But it would have been good to see him, yeah, just have more time. You know, to put into his basketball and sort of push that and see how far he could have pushed it more. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sad situation, and I can't. I don't know. I can't really put myself in that sort of place and think about it because I never happened to me when I was growing up. Because both my parents worked, and even though, but we're talking about the 80s, early 90s. You know, both my parents worked. I know my dad he got laid off from his job, so he had to stay home. My mom had to work, but we're still okay. Because I think that
Yeah.
time was okay. Like you could have a one income back in the
Mm,
80s. You know, it
mm.
was all right.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, I can't. I'm sad that these kids don't have a childhood and they have to work at a young age and that. Because you're right. You guys are right, man. Can never. It's hard to leave that open. Huh.
Yeah, I think just it's such a special time, mentally and physically and all that, and
Mm.
like I worked a bit in when I was at school, but it was just during the holidays, and it wasn't 40 hours that type of thing. So I think a little bit of work here and there was good, like during the school holidays, or less hours. Anything under 20 is probably not too bad, but not all year. Like if these guys are doing
Yeah.
20 plus hours a week and like for long periods of time, that's pretty rough. But like I just did some during the school holidays, which I felt was good, and like it sort of inspired me, like as to what I didn't want to do, type of thing. I was like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
want to do this, I don't want to do that. So it can be good in that sense, in terms of like them sort of seeing what the real world is like, and
Yeah.
what they do want to do and don't want to do. But 40
Mm.
hours, man, that's too much for like a kid sort of thing. Like a
Mm.
part-time job on the weekend or something, that's all right. But you still want to be a kid, a few hours here and there. But anything above 15 to 20 is too much, for a kid and a teen, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, just like trying to juggle, like say church, school, and working. I mean, if you had like 5 core subjects that you're trying to do your NCEA for, trying to study and balance church life, and then trying to play a sport as a team, I get anxiety just thinking about it as an adult, man. Like I couldn't never imagine myself trying to go to uni, study part time, play sport, and look after my wife and kids, bro. Like that's draining, So I think some of these kids will come out, probably stronger, but then for a lot of them, man, it's unnecessary pressure that they don't need. That's how I see it. And I
Yeah.
just
Mm.
yeah, I have so much love for those kids, man, because it's not easy.
Mm.
It's not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, for me and my kids and that, like I don't really want them to work until they're old, like until they finish school sort of thing, just so they can enjoy that time. I mean, it's a long way away, but yeah, I want them to be teens, and even like my wife and her siblings and that, her dad and that is always like, just focus on your school and what you're doing, and that time will come when you get to work and that. But in the meantime, just focus on your schoolwork and all those type of things.
Yeah,
But yeah, for me, I don't want my kids to work until because there's so much time for a day. So it's like, yeah, don't do it before you need to.
There you go.
Sweet boys. Okay. What else in the news? Okay, so Aaradhna, the New Zealand R&B artist, part of Dawn Raid back in the days, and um, R&B singer. She came out, and I only heard about this through through the missus. So she told me this morning, like Aaradhna came out in a way where she talked on of abuse from her partner. She was getting beaten up, and she came out about that just recently on their social media. I think I didn't personally r- read it, but the story came out of. I was told a story about her partner not allowing her to go to her mum's funeral because the partner had insecure issues on the ex boyfriend being at the funeral as well. So there was that, and she showed up to the funeral with like a lace over her face to hide her black eye. Um, Pretty sad, but all that's come out now. Let's you had you heard that news as well?
I'm glad we're sharing it all. Like I can tell you one thing, and I know love's a powerful spell, man, and it's one of those things that can sometimes cloud anyone's judgment. It can also cloud you from reality and what's good, what's wrong, and what you should share and what you shouldn't share. But man, I just want to use this moment and just say, man, to anyone that's in an abusive relationship, man, anytime a guy or a so-called man puts a finger on you and not in the most respectful way, they never stay, man, and they never be quiet about it. They use that moment to tell yourself, run or go get help. Because my heart broke, man. I wanted to cry when I heard my wife reading that. Because Aaradhna's such a beautiful soul. What she, this is that look how far we've come. She's like she's an icon on New Zealand music. She's Samoan, she's Indian, she's proud, she's Kiwi, and to just know that she was going through all of that and hiding it is freaking hard. It's hard to imagine knowing that this is a young girl who got picked up through Dawn Raid. She's the first lady of that label, and this was happening to her. And it's 2023, amongst all the other bullshit that's going on in the world, and it's still happening, like the racism and all the rest of it. But this is freaking next level sad. Like, I couldn't imagine. If I was her brother, I would hunt that guy down, man. I would use all the resources I have to find where he is, and I'll make him pay, man. Like, that's my honest response to that. Like, I would make him pay. I'd sit down and make him feel comfortable. Maybe slip him a couple of roofies and see how far he goes and where he wakes up. That's not wrong, man. Like, and I got a heart, man. I'm a nice guy. I would never wish harm upon anyone. But for her to carry that pain and to feel that at her mum's funeral, bro, that's, I don't know, that's psychotic, man. That's poison, eh? That's so toxic that no one ever deserves to feel like that, man. You should mourn, when you're grieving, you should mourn. You should cry. You should be able to leave that, but not hide your own abuse mentally, physically, whatever. You should never be able to. But that's why I mean, like, man, if you feel like you're in danger in your relationship, man, just run from it, because this poor lady, and she knows I love her, bro. I love her nonstop. I'm always gonna be one of her biggest fans, bro. But that was terrible. That was heartbreaking, man. That was like, literally felt like someone sullied my heart. Like, that's how heavy I took that news. And I'm grateful for all the barbers that have been sharing it too, because it's not okay, that sort of shit's this. If you love someone that much, you would never lay a finger on them like that, There was never love.
What if like what if what if a lady like slaps you in the face? Like, no, I mean, you hear of those ones, and then the guy reacts
Yeah.
instinctually.
Yeah, he should think of the consequence that comes after it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should think heavily about the consequence that comes after it.
Yeah.
Either one of you is going to end up in hospital, or someone's going to end up at the morgue. That's how that toxic feeling should feel. Because if she was my sister, bro, I would roll up fucking full artillery, man, like with everyone. Everyone. No, I wouldn't leave anyone out, And my sister's partner should know this as well, man. Like, openly. Anyone, any female in your family, bro. Your sisters, your niece, especially your blood like that, bro. That's not right, You get it if it was like a fussy from your man at home. It's see, this is what happened. He said not to touch it. But not like that to hide, like, the physical abuse to hide. And there's no excuse for it, bro. Like, if you get hit by a lady, that should make you a bigger man. You should be able to react to that. You should be able to react to that and be like, oh, I had that coming. She wouldn't have hurt you for nothing.
Yeah, it's weird how like you hear of domestic violence and then like that, and then like the family or friends you hear, and they'll be like, "Oh, just stay out of it. It's not our thing," sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you said, like, of course, like if that was my daughter, I was like, of course I'd get involved. I mean, I wouldn't just let them figure it out. Of course you'd rock up and do what you had to do, type of thing. Do the Godfather, Sonny.
Yeah, bro, exactly that, bro. The way Sonny reacts, that's right. But he should always have a plan 3 or 4 steps down the road. All right, if I come down with a bat, he comes with a gun, I'm going to come with 5 guns.
Yeah.
That's the way you should safeguard yourself. But, bro, like
if they have just their own, disagreements and arguments, no, that's just their thing. That's a part of being a couple and figuring things out. But when it gets to violence, then you got to step in and make some changes, type of thing. Basically, what I mean. You wouldn't just let that kind of stuff slide. Yeah.
Like, I hate to think and I'm not even gonna say it right now. Say it was another singer, like okay, we'll just use Rihanna and Chris Brown. I'm gonna say, I can tell you, she did not slap Chris across the mouth and be like, "Fuck me later." That would never have been that case. And are you saying like, okay, is this the new way of being kinky these days? Give me a black eye and then you fuck me up my ass, and we'll make a memory of it. That's fucking not. That's not love, bro. That's sick. It's borderline sick, bro. You know. So for it to happen to a Pacifica lady, and who she is to us, like that's what makes it hard to sort of comprehend and just realize like she was holding on to it, bro. But hey, your mom's funeral, bro. Like that's tough to just hear, eh? Like just to know that that's what she was going through. No one deserves that, man. Like of all the things that I've seen or heard come off social media, that's probably one of the hardest ones. It's one thing to grieve.
Yeah.
It's another thing to hide your pain physically by someone who's laid their hands on you like that, you know? I couldn't
I think
imagine.
we've all had like a friend or family member that, you know, was all cool and beautiful and whatnot, and then all of a sudden, like, he or she is sort of like, oh, where's Thing been? Like, oh, they've got a partner, and you know they're not around as much, and
Yeah.
and then
Those
like
controlling ones.
when you dig in, you're like, you know, things are going down and stuff that you don't, you hear little whispers and things like that, and yeah, it's probably like pretty similar to, you know, the Aaradhna thing, you know, different,
Yeah,
but similar, and then. But yeah, you got to step in there and you know, because like you said, the love thing, you know, can be quite blinding, and they can't see things,
yeah,
or maybe to have the confidence and just get alongside them and yeah, do whatever, you know, is appropriate for that situation. But when people are in it, they can't really maybe see the way out or have enough
yeah.
confidence to step away,
But they
or
don't know how.
they don't see a way out of them because they sort of they tend to like tear people down too, like. You know, you're not gonna find anyone else. You know, you hear stories about that type of thing, how they break people down mentally and physically, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's like they ruin their self esteem and things like that. So it's hard for them to move on, even though they need to. They just sort of like mentally find it really challenging to get past it.
Yeah.
I give it up to her for
Mount
coming out.
Zion, eh?
Mount Zion.
Yeah.
The-
You mean the movie Mount Zion with Stan Walker? He's got that cousin. The baby's been looked after by Stan's family, and then he, you know, hears the phone ring or rings her. She doesn't answer. She doesn't say anything because she's too scared to leave. Usually they just go up her stuff and just bring her home. But then he wasn't gonna go get her. He was like ringing her and say, "Come back," you know. And she never left, but she obviously knew that's not love, man.
Yeah,
I give that to her for coming out, because it's needed. Because domestic violence is a common thing, you know. A lot of women go through it, and you hear it on social media, you hear it on the news, and you hear it happens to celebrities, you know.
Yeah,
And it's good. Like when I think about the latest coming out before, and was Mia Motsu. So you know, she talks she talks about it hard out, you know, about her abuse she got and how she overcame it, you know. And if you hear her story on podcasts or on the news, RnZ, man, they'll give any woman that's in that same situation some sort of courage to do something about it. Eh.
yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Aaradhna heard her story or knew of it, or you know, or even a lot of women out there. Because I think I heard a podcast she came on, Miyamotsu. She came on. She talked about her abuse she received and how she got out of it. And at the end of the podcast, she was talking about how, man, I just hope out there if a woman's in the same position I was, listen to my story and overcomes that as well. You know, I don't care if might be just one person out of everyone that, you know, tunes in, but it's enough. You know, and that stuff's pretty cool.
yeah. I dated a girl years back, and she was a boxer and like quite strong and like not just physically, but just, you know, she was a strong personality. And she was saying she was not beaten, but just more the mental sort of stuff, just negative words and yeah. And she was saying how she was pretty down in the dumps and you know, lost confidence and self esteem and just was a bit of a shell of her former self. And I was like, man, like at the time when I met her, she wasn't she was all good, but yeah, it's just crazy how it can get the strongest of people. You know, toxic people or just real, yeah. So it's so important, like who you hang around and connect with. And I follow this guy. I've been following him for years. He has a lot of good advice. He's like a business guy, but he has some good life stuff. But he said, like, his name's Ty Lopez. I don't know him, but just one of those guys online. And then he said, like the 3 most important decisions in life is like your partner, your career, and your what you pursue, like your passion or whatever. And I was like, he sort of broke down each one. Like the first one is like your partner. It's like who you're gonna spend the most amount of time with, and what you're gonna pick up. And I was like, man, true. Like it's not like things you learn in school. They don't say like, be careful who you who you date and who your partner's gonna be, and what your career is gonna be, because that's what you're gonna do for 7-8 hours a day, and then you're gonna go home to this partner. And so it's like it's so big on who you being able to read people and being able to discern, if this is a good partner for you, because it's got so much time together, and sharing yourself and opening up and all that sort of stuff. It's important thing to learn, eh?
I remember listening to what's his name? I forgot his name, but he was talking about when it comes to domestic violence, the dynamic between the male and the female. A lot of the time is because if you look at the dynamics of it, like the female, she can't fight, but she can play with your mind, with her words. A male, he can fight, and his brain is sort of weak in the mind. So that's like the give and take. So because a woman can't fight, she can attack the male with her words, and because the male can fight, he gets beaten in his mind from those words. But the only thing he can lash out is his fists. You know what I mean? So it's like if you're a male and you can't control yourself, or you don't understand, or you're uneducated, or you don't understand what's going on in your head when those words come out, and the only thing you know is to hit back, actually physically hit the girl, because you don't know how to talk back, because you know what I mean. So I think that's what happens. A lot of that happens too. So because it's like a defense mechanism for women, because they can't fight. It's obvious they can't physically overcome a male, so they have to beat the male with other things, and that thing is their voice.
Yeah. Like it's like those battle raps, say when someone gets you and then you got no reply, so you just punch them. You're like,
But I'm not saying that it's an excuse. I'm just saying I heard that's the dynamic of it. And I think for a woman who's in a relationship with a guy that's inclined to be like that, she's doing it to lash out, wanting him to do something. So maybe something will happen. Like she can take from it. Okay, I'm leaving. She needs that point or something like that. And for the other side of it, a male, he has to learn to control himself, because he has to understand that you can't lash out if you're getting mind fucked in the argument. Even how bad it is, even how bad it is, you just still can't do it. You can't lash out like that.
Yeah, you gotta know the consequence that comes with it, of any decision where you physically decide let's throw down. Bro, you gotta know what comes with it, man. It's like that we can go back and forth, man, but who's gonna have the last say, sort of thing, You gotta ask yourself, do you want to play God and just end someone's life right here? You gotta be able to paint that picture, man. Because if you don't get it, well, then you clearly will never understand until you're sitting behind bars, or you're pretty much on your deathbed.
Yeah, or even think if it gets to that point, then you shouldn't think about we shouldn't be with this person in the first place. You both shouldn't be with each other in the first place.
Blind, though. That's the thing. Some people are there blind, though. 3 or 4 black eyes later, and then you're telling all your cousins, what? It's like, your cousins don't think straight. It was like, let's go now. Get in the car. We're going
Uh,
now.
And I don't know, it's a security things why they stay. If they're scared to be single, or
Hmm.
I don't know. I know it's hard. You invest your life to be with someone, and they're
Yeah.
forced to shit, and then you're like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? That's hard, to go back.
Oh, a lot of girls have
Yeah.
different perspective on it. Man, I've even heard I don't want to be that cousin that was with someone and then didn't have a partner, and then I'm looking around at everyone. I'm the only one still single here in my 30s. It's like fuck that.
Yeah.
I'd rather be single than get the fucking bash. That's just not right. And sometimes they need to be reminded. Like sometimes you got to remind your family, like that's not good. That's not love, cuz like what the fuck's going on? Like it's not. That's not good, man.
I watched that the Chris Brown documentary. It was ages ago, and when he started giving Rihanna the hidings, and he was saying like I can't remember exactly, but something about like he became like his dad sort of thing. I think I don't know if you guys have seen it, but he became what he sort of despised, and like I guess some guys like because if you start dating, everything's cool and stuff. There's no really stress in the beginning. It's like when it's over time when you start to have arguments and that, and then those things that are more inside, like sort of more deeper in you, like will come out, like how you handle, you know, tough times. How you react will come out. So he didn't really know he had that in him. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's just Papelo, but I sort of see what he means. Like he sort of he hated himself in a way because he was doing what he hated at first, and it was from the documentary. Yeah, he became it, and he was struggling to like deal with it. I mean, because I didn't do that, but I have stuff in me that I don't like, and it's hard to control. You know what I mean? That it just comes out at certain times, and it's something more to like manage, and it's like it's an ongoing thing. It will be for life because some things are like really deep rooted. Yeah, I wasn't trying to make an excuse for him. I was just saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he,
So boys,
if a guy beats a girl, they've obviously been through something too. For the guy to be, they messed up as well.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. We talked about it last week, eh? Like that cycle. The cycle comes into play again, eh? Like if you're a kid and you see your dad beating up your mum, there's a chance you're gonna do the same when you're older.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's gotta stop that cycle. Stop that cycle.
Hit a bag.
Love you, Aaradhna. Hope you're all right.
Yeah, man. Okay, boys. Overseas. We'll come to overseas, and Cardi-B. She had a concert somewhere. Don't know where it was. I think it was in Las Vegas. But she came on stage in a beautiful outfit, like always. She came on stage to perform, and she walked to the front of the stage, and someone in the crowd, like, squirted a water bottle at her, or threw a water bottle, but all the water came out and splashed on her. And then Cardi-B reacted by throwing her microphone at that person. I think it was a woman too. The microphone hit that person, bounced off her, and hit the woman beside that person. And the security jumped in and had control of everything. But it's all an embarrassing moment for Cardi-B. Unfortunately, the video doesn't show anything more, so we don't get to see if she performed or not. She probably did, but all these memes started showing up of what happened, and apparently, a woman went to the police that night to lay a complaint and lay a charge on Cardi-B for assault. You guys got any thoughts on that whole thing?
Yeah, just like our predictions about the ABs and what's going on in how we post this and then it's trending like the following week. She's probably gonna get like either a lifetime to free concerts, or she'll get like a big payout, and it won't even end up in court. That's what it'll just be nothing in the end. Yeah, it's just all. So what do they call it? It's just clout.
I watched the video and had a little giggle, and I thought like my first reaction was like, yeah, good on you, because But depends on like my state of mind. Like, because I probably would have did the same thing at certain times. Like, if you're a little bit frustrated or angry, you would react that way. And then other times I might be like more chilled or in a better sort of state. You know what I mean? I would sort of brush it off. So I could see myself doing that. But then also depending on my mood and what's happened that day or recently, then other times I would sort of shake it off easily. So I mean, yeah, Cardi-B. It's just one of those reaction type of things. Like if someone slaps you in the back of the head, you're going to turn around like sort of, hey, what's up? So she just sort of threw the thing really quickly. I don't know if she will do that again next time or yeah.
That's streets, That's what they call streets.
Yeah. She just reacted. You know what I mean? Like
in that moment, I'm Cardi-B. This is where I'm at, and then all of a sudden, bitch, what?
Yeah. So I was sort of like, while like that's what you get for. But and then other times you might be like, he cares about this person, So either way,
it's rich of them to go to the beat, though.
Cardi-B's from the hood, man, and she's from the Bronx.
Yeah, you're gonna react.
I'm sure if you're from the hood in the Bronx in New York City, that's like the Bronx over here in Afton Place, man. Like you're from the hood, you're gonna have some street smarts on you, man, when you react to that kind of thing. So
yeah,
but maybe if she didn't react, maybe get the security guards on down there to handle it. But all I'm gonna say, that person, whoever, if that person was intent was to get a reaction, so they can actually go to the cops and get some money out of it. Man, like a troublemaker, like a fucking troublemaker, man. Like if you think about it, Cardi-B, if any singer goes on stage, you are vulnerable. You don't know what's gonna happen. Like, if you're a male, I see them throwing some panties on stage for Drake when he's on there. But what if it's like a rock or a stone when,
Yeah.
And what are you gonna do if you're on stage? You can't defend yourself. You got nothing to protect yourself. You got the security there, but they can't react in time. Like when that happens to her, I can honestly see her using the street smarts and throwing that microphone straight away.
Yeah,
that's what you have to do. And I think that girl that threw the water bottle, she got hit by the microphone. She deserved it, man. She don't go on a concert and do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
you see like the Dave Chappelle thing, that guy, and then it's good that guy got a hiding, you know what I mean? Like, it send out a message that don't do that shit, hey, and then like LeBron, he handles it differently. Hey, when people attack him, he tells the security and that, so he usually stays pretty calm and he's like, hey, get this person out of here. I don't want to hear this crap, or they're being silly and stuff like that. So I think these people need to be made an example of. You shouldn't be doing that sort of stuff, hey.
Yeah, man, hold up.
If you're going to a concert, just enjoy the concert. If you don't like the person, don't go, type of thing.
Don't go.
Don't mean it's causing trouble and stuff. Yeah.
If that lady got hit in the head, got a back eye out of that microphone, then good job.
Yeah,
deserved it.
Yeah, exactly. They just start stuff like that for nothing.
Straight up. Yeah.
Good take, boys. Good take. All right. Coming down to our categories now. So, what's first? What shall we do? Shall we do Fia Poko of the week? So,
there's
I posted up. What was that?
It's a few front runners, man.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with the one that's on my face right now. So, in the Herald, they posted up a story about, and the headline goes, "Mum accidentally hires stripper for child's 5th birthday." So apparently the theme was Barbie, off the back of the Barbie movie that's out in the theaters. It's doing great. Part of the Barbie and Heimer phenomenon that's going on at the movies. But the Barbie movie comes out and it looks like this mother's 5-year-old child has a birthday party with her friends from school with a Barbie sort of theme. Unknowing to her that the Barbie, what do they call those people that come to the parties? Like you can call like.
Don't act like you don't know. Don't act like you don't know, Cams.
But she probably went to the front door, saw Barbie, and rang her up to come. And apparently it was a Barbie stripper rather than a Barbie character to play with the kids. So, yeah, a bit of a miscommunication, and probably a few bots by the mum. But she's my Fia Poko of the week. What do you guys think of that one?
Borderline. That's borderline. Like, are you sick? I hope they still done traumatized by that. I don't know.
So apparently the stripper came and knew and found out and walked in and was like, "Oh wait, there's just kids here." So she had to like do her thing, but without being naked, obviously.
You would like the person has no awareness there, because when someone rocks up like that, you sort of they walk and talk a certain way, and you should sort of be able to pick up on, you know, the vibe type of thing, the way they dressed, the way they looked, and stuff like that. So yeah, you should be able to pick up on that. You know what I mean? That person coming into your house, and you know, something doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? You get a feeling like something's not right here. You know.
Right.
The red flag would have
should
been
be
the
able
sound
to-
of the girls and the kids screaming. They like, oh, shit. Hold up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe-
the Barbie movie only came out last week. You know, you mean to tell me that a company had a Barbie theme for you know, I'm sure Barbie means whole lot of other things besides the actual Barbie doll. You know, I think it's true. If you type up Barbie in Google, it'll come with all this porn stuff rather than the actual Barbie doll.
Yeah.
Mm.
All those fantasies, eh?
Yeah. Have you guys seen the movie?
Nah, I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen the movie. No. It's going crazy though. I heard.
Yeah,
I heard
apparently it's good. I heard it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I
Same
heard
as me. I've heard the same thing.
Yeah, I heard it because I read into the background over there, and when they were making the movie, they knew that it's a bit cheesy, you know, making a movie about the doll.
Yeah.
But they understood that there will be people that love the doll, and there will people that hate the doll. They had to cater for
Yeah.
both.
Man, funny story to do with Barbie. It's a little bit related. Like we had some neighbors, and they're like old, pretty old, but they've been in the area for a while. But they moved out just to sort of downsize. But they had like these dolls that were like Barbie dolls, like the original ones. Because I've never seen them before. That was the first time I seen them in real life. And they gave them to us because they're just downsizing. And all their grandkids are growing up, are their own kids. So it was like third generation. These Barbie dolls. It was like full on set, like horses and everything. And so their kids used them, and then their grandkids. But you know, everyone grown up and moved on, so they gave them to us. You know, as they moved on, and then like they were like perfect condition, nice, real beautiful dolls. Like they're honestly like next level. The real Barbie ones. Anyway, like give my kids a month, and they're all ruined. Like the heads are pulled off, and man, just like the clothes were mixed up and all this stuff. So I'm like, I don't know what their kids and their grandkids were doing with them, but yeah, our kids were a bit wild, eh?
So apparently,
Sorry.
there's a character in the movie that's representative of that Barbie that's being pulled apart.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, boys, get into some food reviews. Let's you got one?
Yeah, man. For the nephew's 20th birthday last night, he was supposed to spend the weekend in Hamilton. He ended up doing those shock appearances and just drove up, surprised everyone, and to mother-in-law shouted us tea. So we went up to this place up in Westgate. It's called Slats. It's in the northwest. It's the northwest. So it's the food shops across from the Westgate township. But in there, it's quite nice, eh? Like, I think there's a Mexicali Fish up there, or it might be Good Brothers. There's a Good Brothers up there, and there's a few. There's a big like grass area, the fairy lights and all that stuff. But yeah, this place is just like a pool and pub and Bristow place. But pretty pricey, like $25, $30, $35. But yeah, when someone says, yeah, it's book whatever, sweet. Everyone got burgers and like tacos and all that, but I just felt like mashed potato. Like I just saw in the mashed potato, I was like, oh man, they got a nice Canterbury lamb meal. It's like $34. So I was the last one to get my meal. Everyone got their burgers and that, and the deep fries stuff. Like the calamari was good. But when the lamb came out, man, you know how you can get you can get your lamb shared and that, and when you cut it right, but these guys obviously present it like sushi, but it's already cut up, and then they have the pot of gravy that's obviously been smoked. Like it obviously was smoked gravy that I just poured over the lamb and then had it with the mash. The I'd say it was man, I can't remember the name of the vegetable, but I had that and a few bits of cauliflower. Cauliflower was a bit cold, but as I took the first bite, man, I've had many steaks and usually like I say are medium rare or well done. But man, this is probably the best steak that I've had in years, eh? Punching pretty good, man. Like we walked in, there was a young crowd, pool tables, we were having dinner on a Bali now. And when my meal came out, I like to see when I have my meal, I like to see the steam, like, condensation up on your glasses. And man, when I took the first bite, the cauliflower was like a bit cold. But then I had the lamb with the mash, and the mashed potato was piping hot. I love food when it's real hot, because you get the full flavor. When I poured that smoked gravy over the top of it, it literally tastes like the dude was cooking it in front of me. But man, that $34 meal out of 5 is about a 15. So yeah, slats, man. Shout out to their kitchen. Their kitchen looks small, but it looked like a two Asian couple. They were cooking most of the night. But man, the way that meal came out, bro, fuck, it was good, eh? Like, out of that one lamb steak, I probably got like maybe 13 pieces. So they're like 13 little square bits, laid out. And you can see it was pink, but just the adding
Nice.
of that gravy over the top, man, and the piping hot mash. Shit, yeah, man. I was like looking around and everyone was eating their burgers, and I'm like seeing me just have one bite, close my eyes, like, bro, that's high five, man. So
Where's this place close? I might do it tonight.
shit.
What's the name of this place?
Slats. So it's a pool
Alright.
place up in
Oh, yeah.
Northeast.
Yeah.
Good, bro. Like real good, eh? Like we didn't wait long. Atmosphere was good because they had just finished playing the nipple. Nipple was on and that, and then yeah, and I shared it on my story. Shared it on my Snapchat story, and bro, I heard this. Was it Tizen and J King Bendova? I hadn't heard that song in years, so probably added to the vibe as well. So we were just eating that meal, bro. Like solid, eh? But yeah, good vibe up there. The food nears. You weren't waiting long, and it was pretty busy up there. But now, yeah, if anyone's down to just get out and have a look at something, it felt like we were in town, man. That's what I honestly felt. It was just a lot more safer, being out west. So, yeah,
Nice.
check that place
Oh
out.
man, that was a pretty good review. You got me convinced to go out there and check it out. What that
I'm
was
trying
the
to
lamb,
remember
right?
what the
The
name
lamb,
of the
the lamb and potato salad.
yeah, it's called a Canterbury. It's called a Canterbury lamb meal.
Oh yeah,
So,
sweet.
yeah, but yeah, as soon as I felt that it came with like a little shot glass. It was a gravy glass with a little. Once I started that over the steak, then I just saw the steam come up and I smelled it. I was like, but that's smoked thing. And then I took a bite. I was like, shit, that's a good lamb, man. Because it was quite thick. It was about that thick, but the way it was cut nicely. So I was like, fuck, with that mash, bro. That's a solid combo.
Oh,
Yeah, make
nice.
sure you go up and have a look. Sick, yeah.
Sweet boys. All right. Just looking at the time. So, what do you guys want to talk about now? Because I'm just thinking, probably have to cut one of the topics out. So, what we got left? We got
Well, there's
what
last
we're
two.
watching.
There's other videos up on the posters, the Fia Pokos. I posted it as kids can only act what they see. Have you seen that? I
We'll
can
talk
play
about
the
that one.
audio.
Oh yeah.
I'll play the audio for it. So what it
So
is
we're gonna.
two brothers, they're playing in their little go-kart in the street. And it's just seeing the brother who's not inside the go-kart respond to his little brother. And in my head, I'm thinking, man, how old that kid? That kid must look like only 4 years old or something. But it was probably like trending like 2 weeks ago. But I thought to myself,
Your brother drives, whatever. When I tell you where you went. Hey. Oh. Stop it. Hey. Unbuckle and let him drive. No, stop it. Let him drive. Hey. Let me do it. Here, baby. Unbuckle. If I slap you. You're not going to slap him. Stop.
If you watch that, man, and you're a parent, right? I told her that, bro, your mom's savage. Because your kids don't even remember what they see inside the house, right? However, the mom talks to their dad, oh, you whoa. What happened to him? Slap you. I just crack up because these are two little boys. They only look like they're no older than 5. But it's the facials as well, man. He's got a little afro and he's like that to his little brother, man. I'm like, oh, well, that is that is like, man, be careful how you talk in front of your cuz, man. They just take that up and just reenact that out one day. I cracked up when I saw that, man.
Nah, that was good. That was good. No, it's funny because recently, because like to my kids, I usually get like, "What did I say? What did I say?" When I say, "Oh, like we're gonna do this and that," and then after you clean up, and then okay, can we do this? I was like, what did I say? What did? And then like one day, I I hear my older daughter telling the younger one like, "What did I say? What did I say?" And I'm like, "Oh no." What did I say? Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, you're right. That video is 100% right, man. They pick up everything that we do. Yeah. So that was funny as. That was funny as.
Sweet boys. Do you guys want to touch on some of the sport that happened this weekend? So the All Blacks beat the Wallabies again. And Samoa announced their squad for the World Cup. Did you guys watch the All Blacks game?
Yeah,
it was good. It was an early game, It was a 2:30 game, Dunedin. I thought Australia came out to play. Interesting move with the starting forward pack. But I thought, again, man, they are listening to the pods, bro. Because the bench came on and delivered a game. And, like, that's what I mean. Like, when you play against a team like that, I think Australia didn't change much of their team apart from their front row. And I think we started it in their inside backs. But, again, when the bench came on for the All Blacks, that was pretty much the fine moment of the game. Monga kicking that last penalty. But they have tidied up around the ruck. It wasn't like the 2 3-man blocker ruck. So they've just gone to just playing the ball or popping it off the ground, playing a quick ball. It's different seeing no Aaron Smith. It is a different dynamic with the other halves. But I feel sorry for whoever misses out on the All Black squad for the World Cup. I mean, they're going to name that on Tuesday. And I reckon there'll be some surprise miss outs this tournament. I'm going to name one, and I'm going to be gullified if you don't get picked. But I don't think Caleb Clark will get a World Cup spot. On the back of the way Mark Taylor played last week. Whananuku was playing last night. And I reckon Barrett will have to cover 10. McKenzie might cover fullback. And Will Jordan will start at fullback. But those are my predictions.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go for you because it's unfortunate. I think Caleb Clark will miss out because he's a specialist winger, and I think they won't take 2 specialist wingers with them.
Yeah.
Because, Nuku can cover centre as well. You got Will Jordan can do wing and fullback. And Mark Taylor is pretty much your only specialist winger you got out there.
He's the only reason why I watched Las Vegas.
I thought I don't know, I could be wrong, but I thought the All Blacks, because they wrapped up the Bledisloe last week, they they wanted to see some like other guys play, and before they select the team, give everyone a run. I don't know if they lost, if they would have done like the same as the Aussies and just sort of played what they thought was their strongest team. I'm not sure, but I thought it was a good option, giving everyone a run. Things were wrapped up, and one more final look because the World Cup is the main thing. It was good to give some guys a run and see how they handle pressure and at an international level. So I thought it was good for them to come away with a win. After making so many changes. So I thought it was good for the All Blacks after having like quite a lot of different players in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Aussies, playing the same team almost. 'Cause they obviously they're trying to go with one team, which So I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
Big test for All
Yeah, it's
Blacks
amazing.
next game. Big test for All Blacks next game when they face South Africa over there in South Africa. I think South Africa having a game under their belt. They just beat Argentina, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll definitely put their full strength team against the All Blacks at home, and we know the All Blacks always struggle over there in South Africa. So that'll be a good test. I think it might be the actual truest test before their first game, the World Cup against France.
Yeah. I hope the All Blacks, just pick their team and then pretty much keep the same team throughout, unless there's like an injury or something like that, because just to build the chemistry and connection. You watch all the rugby, whether it's NPC or the local. There's not really many changes each week. Generally, like you got to build the combinations, and that's what I believe anyway. Not chopping and changing too much, unless someone gets injured or something like that. Just keep the same, whatever your best 15 is and your best bench, and then try to build that as best you can. Yeah, but we'll see.
Have we watched enough football to pick a starting 15? You reckon? If we were to name our own 15s for the next episode?
I reckon starting 15 is the team that played last week against the Wallabies, the first game.
Yeah,
First
I
World
think
games against Australia. That's the first
I
team.
thought that as well. Yeah, I thought this week was more let's see certain players in certain positions and see how they go and see how combos are. Yeah, I thought last week was their main team. It's at maybe 90%. Yeah.
I'm saying that Caleb Clark did play in that team on the bench, so maybe he might get in for that reason.
Yeah.
Maybe they take two specialist wingers.
The Nepal thing, man, I don't know, bro, but I just have to watch him, mate. I'm seeing if he's doing enough to cement a starting spot. I think after seeing that team last weekend, he came off the bench. I don't think he is a starting player, or whether he has as much to offer coming off the bench, because he was getting caught a lot. I think he got caught a lot with the ball standing flat, and he just either he's Lelava trying to either he should be in front of the ball or behind the ball. And I think I found him man, he gave away a penalty as well, and I just thought, bro, I don't know how that whoever picks the forward pack is going to pick a prop like that at the moment, especially for a team who was struggling at the Super Rugby level, and they were folding to the team that played last week. So that starting front row was pretty much the Canterbury guys against him. So we might see him get axed for the World Cup, I reckon, possibly.
You reckon Nipple will get cut?
Yeah, Neville might get cut. So I've been watching a lot of NPC as well at the moment. I think, man, some of the NPCs next level, bro. I love that. To me, it's like state of origin of rugby in Auckland, just in the provinces.
Yeah,
even
yeah,
the women's game.
it is good.
NBC is on another level than Super Rugby. Better than Super Rugby, actually.
Yeah, it is.
To watch. It's the entertainment factor, and just even just running it inside your own five, like that sort of shit,
And the guys are more proud of where they came from, like some of the guys, it's been their dream to make their local team, and so there's a lot of passion involved. They're proud of where they're from, and that, like the majority of players, outside of the recruits that they get, the guys that are local guys, man, they love it, and all their families and community come out. So yeah, there's a different vibe. I reckon it's pretty cool.
It was the counties and Neki game that I watched, and I thought to myself, bro, that is Hodgkins is playing 8 for counties, and he's quite tall, but he looked tiny compared to the Taranaki front row and Lucy's.
Yeah.
He got lost in the lineout, and he got lost at scrum time as well. So it was pretty cool to see a guy who's played at the top level getting flustered around. There's just the height and the size factor from the Taranaki guys.
Yeah.
And in the end, they pulled away with the game. But yeah, they just had I think there might be some up and coming talent from that forward pack that can be overlooked, but should be considered for the World Cup if they need specialist locks and Lucy's.
Yeah.
That's just going off one game.
Another news, Manu Samoa just announced their squad for the World Cup. Charlie Faumuna's in there. Lima Saponga, he's in there. Jordan Tafua. Ben Lamb's in there. He didn't make the All Black say, but he played New Zealand reps.
think I haven't followed it too closely, to be honest, but I really like Lima Sopoanga. Like, I think it'd be kind because all the island teams always have like great runners. They're powerful, they can hit and all that. But just having like playmakers, it's always been like a tough thing. And having Lima being so proven, like club level, and then playing All Blacks and stuff like that, I think it'd be awesome. And he's still like at a good age, like he's not washed up. Like, I think it'll be. Hopefully, he doesn't get hurt or anything, and he can play the whole tournament. I think it'll be pretty key. Just they always need like that guiding, halfback and first five type of thing. Like any Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, like it's always for me. I see it as they always need like these playmakers because everyone can run the ball really well and strong, good footwork, and just guys to lead. And I feel like he's got a lot of good experience, and he's been in the system and stuff like that. I think it'll be good.
I know Israel Folau got injured. He had to stay in Australia. He didn't make the game against Samoa yesterday.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not too bad and he can make the World Cup.
Damn.
Sweet.
But I think, I think league and rugby, like when you watch all the island teams, they just need halves, from my opinion. Like when you watch Tonga and Samoa and stuff, like they just need guys to guide the boys around. And I think if they can have halves, then you'll do pretty well usually.
Because MMT, they were pretty weak there, in the halves there.
Yeah, that's what I was sort of lacking. I think before they had Lolohea. I can't remember who the other half was, but the Lolohea is pretty solid, and I think Havili was a hooker maybe. But yeah, you need some good halves.
All right, boys. Down to the final. Let's do some last words. Who wants to go first? Yush, some last words.
What's some last words? What's been happening? I guess that's just on my mind. I guess with my mum's birthday, just make sure you. I guess maybe the last 3 or 4 years, prioritizing. I guess whatever your loved ones are and your purpose and that type of thing. Just sort of narrowing things down. I guess that's where I'm at the moment. My faith, my family, and that type of thing. So just make the effort to hang out with whoever it is, your grandparents or your mum and dad or cousins, and there's like keeping things in priority. That's what I'm trying to focus on. My wife, and as I was saying earlier in the episode, like before, I'll be sort of putting my own pursuits first, and now I'm I've switched that around. So some of the things are not bad, but they're just maybe too much time into too much time and effort, whereas that should be maybe a bit lower on the priority list. We only have a certain amount of time, energy, and resources, so just make sure you're reflecting on where those things are going. And it's a constant thing for me because it's easy for me to get distracted by the shiny object and try to chase things, and which are not bad things, but just trying to keep the first things first and then sort of work your way down. I guess that's what's been on my heart and mind lately.
Nice.
Cuz. Shout outs to your lady, man. I mean, that's a big feat, celebrating milestones like that. And it's important to celebrate little wins. I just wanted to make a little shout out to my toko Mickey. I know him and his wife have been going hard. They going on a boat cruise on Tuesday. They've been training up at their gym out in Glen I didn't even want to plug them, but they had an in-house couples weight loss challenge, and they ended up winning it. So that's on the back of him doing some long hours. So congratulations to him and his wife, Gayleen. And I like to always sort of like preach life. I think it's important. It's good to hear you on here, cuz talk about like just the stuff that you experience and stuff. And I just wanted to touch on something that the real BDFS said last week, and it was like giving flowers to those that are around so they can smell them instead of showing up at their funeral and giving them. And like I'm always gonna say thanks to Cams for providing a platform and the space and the work you do for the WesWes Network, because you're deserving of those flowers also. No matter what many people might say, it's easy to talk and just do the fake color and then chuck your lima finger here and there. But it's different when you action it. And I've seen the work you've been posting all week, and just seeing all the reels go up. So mad love to you, so mad respect to you. And I just wanted to read something, and it's one of those things. I've picked up my old phone, and now I'm gonna start uploading stuff to YouTube as a memory, and that's on the back of watching Rona and her cooking channel. But I've picked up my old phone and I've managed to flick some posts that I've been inspired by in the past, and the post is called loyalty. So some people are loyal to you; they are loyal to their need of you. But once their needs change, so does their loyalty. So I'd like to think if I passed away, then my kids would know what that meant, and I know my kids know what loyalty is. So I'm forever grateful for the platform, also, and I appreciate just being able to sit here and conversate with you and share perspective of Pacifica West Auckland to the world. And I think Cams is the big dog, and you should be acknowledged as the big dog also. And I appreciate just to be on the segment, man. Like, it's come a long way. When we empty out the clip was being online, to then being in the studio. But I'm just proud to sit across and just share the window with you, especially with you, Yush. West Auckland CrossFit hero, bro. You bought that out west, and I'm always gonna keep saying that, bro. Said, nah, you know what it is, man.
Thanks, Lens. Thanks, Yush, man. That's been great, and shout out to all the listeners that makes us come every week to talk to you guys. And I think that's the main thing. We don't want to be talking to empty to no one. We'll be talking to ourselves. Nah, but just stay tuned in to the WesWes Network. We'll always bring out some more content, and yeah, you're right. I have been going hard with the reels this week. I think I've got this technique now on software where it allows me to get things recorded faster, so I can put more things up. So I'm just playing around with that sort of thing right now. So hopefully I can get more content out on a daily basis now with this new system I got. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, man, just tune in. I know there's gonna be a 145 back on 145 episode coming out tonight. With myself and Ave having a yarn for an hour and a half, 2 hours. That'll be funny. And I'll bring out another back on 145 released on Thursday, which would be with my talk with the guys from Crescendo in Evandale. Yep. And next week there'll be more back on 145 episodes. I've got episodes in the books already. I haven't released yet, so I've got about 4 episodes. 4 or 5. So those to come out. Also got some. We also have some late returns film reviews to come out. One will come out this week. Me and Eric will talk about the movie Total Recall, and then after that, I think will be Once the Warriors with me, Let's, and Sully.
Oh, me.
Yeah, that will come out after that. So yeah, man, and also the boys will be back on the Counter Ruck talking rugby union. And Tana and Simon will be back during the week to talk some NRL with the 135 Footy Show.
Shout out to those guys, man.
Yeah. You guys, if you want to jump on, just give me a holler and I'll put you guys on. But nah, man, just like every week, man. Thanks, Yush. Thanks, Let's, for showing up and talking some smack on empty out the clip. Appreciate you guys always. We'll do it again next week. To our listeners, thank you. And for everybody out there, let's get the fuck out of here.
See you, Luis.
See you guys. Thank you.